impossible! How could he have... Naraku! No! No!
Inuyasha. It's so cold. I never even got to show you just how much I loved you.
I swear, Kagome, I will bring you back. Even if I have to fight through the flames of the underworld. I will bring you back.
Inuyasha, Steps of Orpheous, Chapter 1.
Hurry up, Kagome! Look! That dragonfly is huge!
I'm coming, Shippo. Hold up.
Inuyasha was watching Kagome through gentle eyes as the girl danced her way through the lush greens of the field, with Shippo a short ways ahead.
Huh? Oh, it got away! It's coming your way, Inuyasha! Get it!
I'm tired today. Leave me alone.
Lousy party pooper.
What did you just say?
I said you're a party pooper!
Why, you little...
Ha ha, you missed me! Ow!
Inuyasha, stop picking on him.
Perhaps it was the bright, warm light from the sun that hung on the open skies, but the girl's figure attracted him more than usual. Realizing that he had just been staring, he quickly turned away to hide his blush.
It sure is a peaceful afternoon.
Miroku laid his staff on the ground as he took a seat. Sango tossed her weapon down as well and gave a tall stretch.
It sure is.
Amidst the fighting, it's quite refreshing to behold such a spectacle to calm one's spirituality.
A familiar sensation jolted up the young demon hunter's back.
You purr!
This was quickly followed by a thundering slap.
Why do I
Even
have
without
to go and
turning,
ruin the mood like
the
that?
three ahead
I'd
knew
finally
that the
found some
monk
inner
had
peace on
failed
this
to keep
wonderful
his
day.
busy hands to
Maybe not
himself
think of
again.
dirty thoughts for even a day.
Kagome approached Inuyasha and took a seat by his side before turning back up to the boy again with a smile. When he saw the sunlight glimmer on her face, he knew that he had blushed again. Turning away with a shake of his head, he looked back at her with a side glance. Leaning back on her elbows, Kagome invited him to join her. He followed and laid down, lacing his fingers under his head as a pillow. For a short moment, they remained silent to feel the warm breeze that winded through their hair. Then, she sat up and turned to him, still smiling gently.
Inuyasha.
She spoke, with sincere eyes. The half-demon sat up. He realized that the others had disappeared, but before he could wonder about where they could have gone, Kagome had called his attention back to her.
Inuyasha.
He turned back, and their eyes met. She began drawing closer to him. He hesitated at first, but the warm spring air that quietly hymned through the field seemed to put him into a trance, motioning him toward her. Kagome closed her eyes as the young demon brought his hand to the side of her face and closed his as well. As their breaths tangled in the closing void between their lips, Inuyasha suddenly felt the touch in his hand disappear. The girl's lips touched his only an instant, before it too faded away.
I'm sorry, Inuyasha.
He heard her say as he reopened his eyes questioningly. He realized that the field was gone. Everything around him was gone. It was not darkness, just black, a void.
Kagome, what's going on?
He asked and attempted to grab her, but his hand went through her as though she wasn't even there.
I'm sorry, Inuyasha.
He was able to see her fading figure perfectly, but there were no shadows.
I have to go now, Inuyasha.
She said, tilting her head with a smile. Her figure had nearly disappeared completely.
Kagome... No...
He tried to grab her again, but his hand only went through in vain.
Kagome...
Kagome!
Inuyasha jumped from his slumber, nearly falling from his branch. Patting himself on the cheeks, he realized that they were still damp with tears. He heard a noise coming from nearby bushes, and quickly wiped his face dry.
So that's where you were.
Miroku stepped out of the shadows and brushed some leaves off his mantle. His friend did not reply.
You can't stay up there forever. Why don't you come down? You haven't eaten anything all day.
I'm a demon. I don't need to eat for weeks at a time.
Well, couldn't you at least come down so it would make it easier for me to talk to you? I won't take long.
Lazily, the Hanyo rolled off the tree and landed on the ground, where he took a seat and leaned back against the trunk.
What do you want?
Listen, I know you're upset about Kagome's death, and we all are. But we have to move on. It's been 5 days since her death. You can't go on like this or you'll die next.
Then so be it. I don't care.
Miroku clutched his teeth with a bit of frustration.
Inuyasha, stop acting like a baby about this. You still have to go through the well to deliver the news to her family. I think you've kept them waiting long enough.
You just don't get it.
I don't get what? That you loved her?
Inuyasha's eyes opened with a glare.
The fact that you loved her doesn't change the fact that she's dead.
The words lingered in both men's chests uncomfortably. Inuyasha turned his eyes to the Shikon jewel he had been holding in his hand.
I failed her, Miroku. She died because I failed her. And it was all because of this stupid jewel!
Inuyasha exclaimed and threw the object on the ground. Miroku retrieved the gem slowly.
We all failed her, Inuyasha. All of us. Now stop blaming yourself. Take her body back to her time so that her family can pay their final respects. It's the only thing we can still do for her.
Inuyasha's eyes narrowed as he stood up and snatched the gem from the monk's hands. Miroku called after him as he
Inuyasha!
jumped on a nearby branch.
I refuse to acknowledge this.
With that, he jumped away. The monk called after him one last time, but he was already gone.